All right, I'm ready to get started. Hold on one second. I got to get back in. Let's see, where am I? Okay, here we go to this guy. And then, hi, there we go. Now it's working. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome. Happy Friday to you. It's, it's been one of those, man, I'm tired of being right Fridays. I have to say, oh, hi, Chip. Chip's coming in already. Hold on. Let me say hi to him real quick.
Chip, what you doing, buddy? What you doing?
Did you hear all the noise and you came in here with your big body? Would you come in here on a Friday? Are you okay, buddy? Are you a good kitty? Are you a happy boy? Good morning, everybody. Sorry, one second. Little cat love. So, I get up this morning, like a lot of you folks, and I take a gander at the news, make sure I'm getting plenty of, disinfo straight down into my gullet. And I'll be darned if I didn't see those fantastic jobs numbers coming out. And so I'm looking around at my usual sources to see what the news is saying about the 528,000 jobs, the unemployment getting to 3.46, below 3.5. Every job plus a million that we had pre-pandemic is back. The big growth in non-farm payrolls in the hospitality area points to people going back to work, going back out, going back to, restaurants and that kind of stuff. Big Biden boom, right? So we got a big Biden boom thing that, it's genuine. And oil prices hit $88 a barrel. It's not a good week to be Larry Kudlow. It's not a good day to be Maria Bartiromo. I'm avoiding looking at both their shows from yesterday and from this morning, just so we can watch them together later today. I just say it. But the fascinating thing for me was, and some of you who follow me on Twitter might have spotted this, that I posted earlier, a kind of an amazing thing that just happened in me looking around at news stories, and it's turned into a bit of a thing on the news, and on the Twitter sphere. So a lot of people are referencing it in the media sphere because let me see if I can how do I do this? I'll turn this guy off first. Yeah. Let me show you what it was. So I come and I get I see this story at ABC News. What to expect from the July jobs report. And it's some of these stories I'm like, oh, well, shit. Obviously this is them. This is the article from, before. So, and the problem with it is that the title of the article and when it was posted and the first couple of sentences seemed a bit off to me because it was talking about the July numbers, but it had a looking forward headline, like somebody put the wrong headline on like yesterday's headline on tomorrow's article by mistake. That's what I think happened. Will you get there? Go with the ball. Come here, buddy. Come on. I'm not getting you a snack. So, I think that's how this slipped through. Okay? So, but this is what to expect from the July jobs report. Resilient hiring has so far withstood a series of rate hikes from the Fed. By Max Zahn, August 5th, 2022, 2:06 a.m. And this is a pre-draft, it seems, of the story that would come out today. And the thing that obviously popped out to me was the total lack of numbers in it. Today's numbers. And where they should be, it says XYZ. The U.S. saw a hiring slowdown in July as the economy added XYZ jobs and the unemployment rate, XYZ, at XYZ percent. according to data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics on Friday, which is not how Bureau of Labor statistics are normally written. The report marks the latest sign of an economic slowdown as the Federal Reserve carries out a fight against inflation that aims to slash demand by cooling the economy, but risks tipping the economy into recession. Now, this is boilerplate I've been talking about for a little bit, and I've been pushing back on for a while. And this kind of presumption that these stories, oh my gosh. Thank you, Alan, for the $1 for jobs. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thanks for the Venmo. Yeah, well, so let's continue on. I have thoughts, believe me, but here we go. The report marks the latest sign of an economic slowdown slash demand. Okay. Evidence of a softening labor market has mounted this week amid layoffs at high-profile companies like Walmart and Robinhood, as well as a government report that showed a steep decline in job openings in June. Now, what are two things about Walmart and Robinhood? One is Robinhood was a company that, you know, a lot of people use to trade stocks on. I've used it myself. My girlfriend's kid uses it, and we just kind of, you know, as a way of like kind of learning. Thank you, Paul. You know, the stock market. He was interested in doing it, so I set up an account so I could talk him through it in case there were any questions. And it was just a little minor stuff. It's not, you know, neither one of us has got like, you know, Nancy Pelosi investments on that level. Okay, so the Robinhood was oversized for their needs anyways. Okay, so the idea that Robinhood was eventually going to start shedding people, especially as they had a huge boost caused by the unemployment insurance that some people didn't need, especially teenagers living at home who were sort of trapped during COVID, and they didn't have any excess bills on top of the family. So that's where the meme stock crowd actually grew out of, was that they flooded onto, and it didn't take much because you have to understand the stock market had eaten shit because of COVID. And so you could buy all these stocks at basically garage sale prices, you know, at fire sale prices. And so it made a lot of sense for people to go, all right, $1,000. I don't have a car payment. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not buying gasoline or anything. Mom's getting all the food. I still live here. I can't go to school yet. We're doing that from home. I'm using their computer to go to class. What do I do with this in a good way? So what they did was, a lot of them was put it into the stock market, which is not a bad idea. It's, you know, that's a smart thing to do. You have $1,000 sitting around and you don't genuinely need it right now, and the stock market is eating shit. It's not necessarily a stupid thing. And so a lot of blue and, and I would say non-collar workers and students took a bit of their UI, it didn't even have to be a lot, and started, playing with it on Robinhood and those kind of things and boosting it up. And because we were in such a dip, if you just sit fucking still, it's one of those things where even a grandparent might go, here's $1,000, I bought you a stock with it, sit on it, don't do anything. And so a lot of people flooded into this. All the meme stocks came from this, GameStop and AMC, those kind of things. Part of the reason why that became a real thing was all this, like sideline UI money that people were like, all right, what do I do with it? And so Robinhood bloated very quickly because holy shit, they did way more business than they thought they would be doing necessarily on steady growth. And then they're going to have a contraction. That's what's going to happen. They're going to let people go because people are going back to work. They're spending the money that they have going places instead of buying stocks. Some people might lose interest. There's enough people that got interested in the stock market and then lost that same interest in a very short period of time. That would mean a normal contraction of they hired too many employees. Now they're firing some. Not weird at all. And then the other one was Walmart, which during COVID moved a shit ton of their business to their online side, hiring drivers, hiring, everybody in sort of the shipping side of things. And now, especially Walmart people, unlike maybe even, Target people who might be slower to go back to the store, Walmart people are like, fuck masks, I'm going back out there. And so they started going back to the store. So you some of the jobs you can just transition from the warehouse back over the store. Some don't. You just let them go. All right. So those two examples are shitty examples as to reading why the economy would be doing a contraction. I don't want to get to, like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places and G.I. Joe at the Kung Fu Grip, but these are practical reasons why both of those stocks are a stupid read. If they're talking about commodities or bonds or some complicated shit, I almost would acquiesce to like, okay, I know what I don't know enough about what they're talking about, so maybe they're right. This is just dumb. Okay, so anyways, as well as a government report that showed a steep decline in job openings in June. Okay, there are too many jobs already. There were 2 jobs for every person a fucking month ago. A decline in available jobs does not mean a decline in employment possibilities. Instead of firing some people, companies just said, all right, well, we're not going to hire more people, so we'll just stop hiring. That doesn't mean if they had 20 jobs available, they have 10 workers looking for those 20 jobs in theory, and they've got multiple choices because that's true everywhere else. So they cut the 20 down to 15. They still got 5 more jobs available than there are human beings. Shit. Anyways, you can see why this caught my eye. So the XYZ jobs added in July marks the lowest monthly gain since December. Now, here's the thing. What everybody is saying is, look, they always preload some of these stories one direction or another. It's not uncommon. The example people have been using all morning is obituaries. They pre-write obituary and then the fucker doesn't die. The problem is with an obituary, I'm sorry to tell everyone this, but eventually everybody dies. Eventually that obituary has a data set of 1. You are either on or off as a human being. And so therefore, if you write an obituary for everybody, that all you got to do is add more information depending on how long you were wrong for. Was it days? Was it months? Was it years? Did they do 10 more movies in between? Or did they, were you off by a week, right? But the data set's the same. It's 1 or 0. They're either a 0 or they're a 1. In this, there's hundreds of data sets that would explain whether, even if the jobs numbers, if we added 800,000 fucking jobs, but a bunch of people who previously had stopped looking for employment have decided, oh shit, job market's really hot right now and wages are going up, so I'm going to go look for a job again. And then they couldn't find one, so 2 weeks later they applied for unemployment while they were looking for a job so they could buy a new toothbrush and a brand new, suit and tie or whatever, so that they could actually get the job they want, not the job they had. Then the numbers would speak to a whole different set of issues. It's like when they judge countries' value by GDP, right? China has the second highest GDP in the world. But they also have, after us, they also have 5 times as many people, allegedly, but 5 times as many people. That's not a good sign. You spread that much money over that many people, it's worse than other countries with a smaller GDP and fewer people, for fuck's sake. All right. I'm fine. All right. The XYZ jobs added in July marks the lowest monthly gain since December and a significant drop from the 372,000 added in June. Okay, they had no fucking idea what the number was going to be. People had suggestions, right, about what the job could fucking be. What if it wasn't the lowest monthly gain since December? Maybe it was the lowest monthly gain since May. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was dead on even with some. Maybe it ate shit and there were 0 jobs. You know what I mean? But the point is, people make predictions about how they're going to invest, what they're going to do with their time and money, how they think the country's going based on the narrative aspects of this, not just the data. Otherwise, you just go to the fucking form on the site and go, 372. Okay, that's plenty. Okay, and then you'd move on. You'd go make your, make your own financial decisions. They are a mid person between you and your financial decisions. That's what this article is supposed to be. Fucking hell. Moreover, the figure signals a departure from the robust hiring sustained over the first half of 2022. Does it now? How much of a departure? How much of a departure is XYZ from 461 to 372 in June? It's fucking the highest this year. The labor market has been a bright spot in the economy, but there are signs that the labor market is clearly cooling. Daniel Zhao, senior economist at the career site Glassdoor, told ABC News, it does seem like the labor market is healthy. Even as demand slows, layoffs are still very slow. Whichever way it goes, I'll just use the more or less of the same. I'll pick and choose. Maybe I'll use, we'll cut the top part if it's bad and the bottom part if it's good. While a hiring slowdown may alarm economists and everyday Americans, you silly people, the signal of weakening labor demand may relieve pressure on the Fed to sustain its aggressive interest rate hikes. At meetings, by the way, that's not the only factor, dummy. If the economy, and if they just decide, it'll do, we'll do another 75 basis points. We'll do a 0.5 in the winter, and then we'll be back at normal numbers for the rest of fucking all time. We'll be at like whatever 6% or something, and then that's a genuine positive flow. That's what the lending of money should be about. It means people take the money seriously. Jesus Christ. All right, anyways. Again, you have to read. It's not so much even the fact that they're just writing this without the numbers. The fact is he's writing this with it's the narrative around it that is amazing to me. Because they're already telling you what it means before they get the actual number. Yeah. Gas prices are dropping, optimism, right-wing sweat. Oh, yes, there's some definitely right-wing crack sweat going on right now. At meetings of the past 2 months, the central bank has increased its benchmark interest rate 75 basis points. Dramatic hikes last matched in 1994. Remember 1994 when everything was destroyed and we never recovered? We've always just done awfully since. Despite a series of borrowing cost increases meant to slash prices, inflation has not only persisted but worsened. No, it has not. It's year over year, dumb fuck. And we went through a period where, and it'll even, by the way, more than likely, it'll appear to increase year over year this month because August was when Delta hit us. And that's when everything took a shit again. And so even though we were on our rise up, it took a dump like that. So year over year, inflationary costs there'll be a bigger distance. Even as gas prices go down. These fucking people. And then that means September and October will look like you could technically see artificially better because of that same thing. Because it started to ramp up around September as we came out of Delta and things got normal again. And so the year over year is going to get squashed. Because you have to remember where you were last year. How are things going? They were not going well in August of last year. We had just gotten to the point where we're like, oh shit, most people are getting vaccinated. Everything seems to be good. And then Delta hit us and all these red states, they started, kicking off people left and right. So despite a series of borrowing cost increases meant to slash prices, inflation has not only persisted but worsened. Data released last month showed that prices jumped a staggering 9.1% in June year over year, which amounts to the highest inflation rate in more than 4 decades. By the way, jumped a staggering 9.1% in June. How many people believe that inflation went up 9% in 1 month in the United States? Now, 9% over the course of a year from a year ago when things were just starting to kick back in and we had a huge supply crash. Crazy Eddie, slashing prices, insane. Alarmingly, the price increases have coincided with shrinking economic output. Gross domestic product dropped an annualized rate of 0.9% on the second quarter after falling 1.6% in the previous quarter. The recent trend qualifies because we're bringing everything home. Ugh. The recent trend qualifies for the shorthand definition of a recession consisting of 2 consecutive quarters of GDP decline, which is not the indicator, because a recession that they're talking about is a monetary recession caused by economic factors. This ain't. We had a pandemic and now we have a war. This is fucking life. That's like saying you going outside from your inside air conditioning and you go outside into 110 degree heat without and just talking about how many feet in one direction you walked as the reason for the rise in temperature. Not the fact that you were indoors and now you're outdoors. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense to everybody? I try. We also have price gouging up the wazoo. Sort of decaying bear. I understand where you're going with that. It's not as big a thing as you think. Most of what we're experiencing in that price squeeze has been in refinery capacity and the bottleneck there. Because oil itself is not just used for cars. And a lot of the countries that use petroleum products specifically, and that's why we haven't seen a big price gouge in plastics for the same reason, because those processing facilities didn't go offline the way the gas refining ones did. So far this year, the tight labor market has offered up a stronger corner of the economy, but employment data indicated softening on Tuesday when a report released by the government showed that job openings fell steeply in June to their lowest level in 9 months. Look, there are too many jobs already. When there's too much of something and it lowers, the proper response is to not give a fuck. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like stock overvalued. Stocks being overvalued. If they're worth too much and you know it, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about, like, Tesla isn't worth that much. It will be eventually, maybe, but it's not worth it now. And if you're buying in the short term, what the fuck, you're not going to make any money off this because you're going to sell it and it's going to lose money because they're not in the business of making that much money yet. All this talk about how stocks needed a correction, how the stock market was totally overvalued for a long time, and then it makes a contraction. Everybody's like, Jesus Christ, the stock market is taking a shit. Like, no, it isn't. It's lowering down to reality. That's a good thing. It's bad if you're a day trader. It's bad if you're a bullshit artist. It's bad if you invest only for the buying and selling of stocks instead of the actual investing in a company you think has some worth and some value in the long term. Yeah. But it's not reflective of the quality of the fucking company. Like, one of the most irritating things, and I've talked to Ali Velshi about this a couple of times, and I'm sure I rub him the wrong way about this stuff, and much love to Stephanie Rule as well on this topic. But when a company makes a bunch of money, its quarterly earnings are $1.6 billion, but investors thought it was going to make 1.2. And it has a lot of different factors that make it happen. It wasn't because they built this thing and it was a piece of shit, and when people bought it, they hated it. It's not even based on that. It's like because money is getting more expensive to borrow, and they're leveraged because they have more R&D costs than someone else in their sector, but then that's how they stay ahead of the competition. There's all these other factors that are like, I don't know. I'm pulling my money out. And so people do that shit, and then the stock goes down. Not because the company's not doing good work, building something worthwhile, investing in its own future, creating something of genuine use, but because some asshole was expecting the the dividend to be for themselves, for their payout on this. They bought it as a dividend stock temporarily, and they were expecting $1.12, and they're going to get $1.08, and they're like, fuck this joint. Where am I going? Yeah. So, hilarity. Meanwhile, a slew of major companies in recent days have announced job cuts or hiring slowdowns. Again, not the same fucking thing. Hiring slowdowns in an environment where you have twice as many jobs as workers. That's not a hiring slowdown. Though, even if you kept those job openings, there is no one to fill them. How is that hiring? That's like saying, I'm hiring 6 angels this month. Do you know what I mean? Did you get any... No. Is the job opening for angels still available? Yes, it is. It's cool. We got a troll or two in here. That's good. They help us with the algorithm. Thanks, trolls, for writing stuff. And welcome to a place where you don't upset anyone. Yes, Tesla is a volatile stock, and that's why day traders like playing with it. But that's not the sign of a healthy economic system for that particular person or that company itself. You don't want to be a meme stock. You don't. So, where do I apply for an angel? Yeah, don't be afraid to give the trolls a cookie. If it wasn't for them, we would be stuck in the algorithm corner that we're always in. Thanks to them, we show up in the... People who watch this also watch this part of areas where we would never be otherwise. So welcome, trolls. Thanks for being here. And I know some of you aren't genuine maggots. I know you're not real right-wing trolls. I know some of you are, like Russian workers at a Macedonian hacker farm. And I know some of you are, TYT and Jimmy Dore fans who are just like posers. But either way, you're welcome. We're glad you're here. And I'm sorry that the trolling doesn't get the endorphin buzz that it used to get you in, 2016. It's really, according to ABC News, it's a declining industry. I mean, don't worry. There's still day traders who will fuck around with it as a penny stock, but don't hope for much. All right. So still the overall robust hiring in recent months defies typical conditions for a recession, said Zhao of Glassdoor. It would be very unusual to have a recession when we're still adding several 100,000 jobs a month. Right. Because you are gauging that based on economic factors without any externals, like a pandemic that is currently still shutting down the country where a good portion of factories are in the world, in particular in Shenzhen in China and the Shanghai economic sector. And we always get into the Chinese economy stuff regardless, but I mean, it's been a lie for a long time. We now know it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I'll eventually have like Peter Zion on my show. Yes, I boost my own algorithm. It's true. Of course, if we have a surprisingly bad report where we see job losses this month, then that could change the picture. They end on a hopeful note at the end. Now, this is not the current story that's up on ABC News about the economy, about the jobs report this morning. The one they have up has an entirely different narrative, almost, and a lot of numbers filled in. Some asshole over there this is my theory, they put yesterday's title on tomorrow's article by accident and hit send. Oh, they revised. Oh, indeed they revised. So I went through, hold on one second. Let's see if I can get this. Where Where would this be? What would that be? Okay, here it is. So I went through and broke down, the story. I took screenshots of it. And a lot of news folks have been jumping in and talking about this. He goes, in my breaking news days, we would prep posts for scheduled announcements with both this is good and this is bad angles to get the info out there in context as quickly as possible. Not sure if that's the case here, but accidentally publishing a shell is a nightmare. Yes, it is. Also, that's the problem with this fucking story, Blake. With all due respect, and I have no reason to question your own personal ethics about story releases, but the idea that there would be a binary between these two things, and that's the only kind of narrative that exists about these things, unless they wrote a mixed picture, but that's not exactly clickbaity enough to get this done. So anyways, needless to say, it was posted, yes, by mistake. Was it published? I would say no, because publishing in its full meaning is not simply putting stuff online. Publishing means declaring. ABC News reporting on the July. No, I don't think they. Well, here's the thing: online, that's a distinction without a difference, Jay. I would argue. That's a distinction without a difference. When you put it in the paper, go with published. But if you posted it online, that you're accidentally publishing it. Let's see. I wouldn't say it gets things wrong because it never really published. Thus, there was never claimed to be right. Here's my problem, Jay. And Jay Rosen's a professor at NYU in journalism. I would absolutely push back on that because of the binary narrative of the story in and of itself. That there would be a big bad or a big good, and that's what we have to choose from in an economic picture like this. They get mamby-pamby by the end of it. They do that with a lot of them. Well, we'll see. Is effectively how a lot of this stuff goes, because they're always hedging their bets in the economic world. But the idea that they drafted like, well, shit, this is a sign that the economy is doing this. And they wrote an article based on this is a sign that the economy is doing this based on maybe 2 data points that they were using to, as premonitions. In this particular case, Robinhood and Walmart, which I personally believe they totally misread, which shows an ignorance about the issue that seems self-evident. But on top of that, the XYZ in there presumes a myriad of options. At what point does it go? Is it 200,000 jobs, which is, if they're below 1 month but above another month, which is a much more moderating picture, then the rest of the article is fucking worthless. Not to mention if they're totally wrong on one side or the other. There are like 9 areas. There's like 9 steps on the ladder where the article, its base argument falls apart. That's the problem. And the idea that economic stories should be written even on jobs reports and that kind of shit it should be even written in this kind of binary thought is in and of itself a problem. Yeah, I think Ahmed is right here. He goes, very unlikely they have a staff big enough for this to make sense. No way they're writing multiple versions of multiple stories. Most likely in stories like this, they take a stab at what they believe is the likely outcome and have to do a complete rewrite if there's a surprise. It seems like they had the other variation done fairly quickly, which you can write up in a fucking hour. But the idea that they're preloading these ideas, like if it goes this way, we should have a story ready where it paints this kind of picture, instead of they themselves looking at the indicators and going, today's was a surprise because looking at these indicators as we were doing, it points to this picture. And we disagree on an economic, on the economic story that's being put out by the employment stats, positive or negative. Yeah, it's a template for a binary. Daniel Zhao is backtracking quickly on Twitter this morning. It's laughable. That's fun. The draft version, I mean, with XYZ, my guess is someone convinced they were right, gave the go-ahead for the wrong story version, editorial ego. That was what I wrote. It's just funny how, like how many people on the, who's on the byline? Yeah, it was Max Zahn. Curse of the pre-write. Yeah. I mean, everybody in news is picking this up. And, welcome to infotainmentwars.com. I have been, I've been talking about this stuff and the oversimplification of these kind of ideas for quite some time. And but the number of reactions that I'm getting this morning to this particular story is pretty telling. Yeah, on the upside, now we know what Jobs Day pre-writes look like. Thanks, Jody. Yeah, you're welcome. I was just, I mean, I'm just proud to have stumbled on it. Welcome to infotainmentwars.com. I'm HAL Sparks. This is the morning show. Normally, I don't get to, scoop media on a story, but there I have done it. And there's a lot of theory out there. And by the way, hold on, chat room. I want to bring you guys up in a second so we can say hi. There we go. Morning, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. If you like me having the morning show, that's a great thing. I do think that this is an example of something. We'll talk about Pelosi's trip to Taiwan as well. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everybody. I do think this is a great example of what I've been saying about the yeah, but part of an article. The third or fifth or seventh paragraph is always the yeah, but. And the issue being that in highly complex stories, they write polarizing narratives that fit a trended thought, because that's really the biggest problem with this article insofar as I see. You know what I mean? It's that you would take data you don't know that may be bad, it may be mid-level, it may be wrong. It's been wrong before. They've been revising up, I think, every month the number of jobs job growth in the United States has been revised up every month for the last 5 months. Maybe we missed one, but or that it was close to it. But they've all revised up. None of them have revised down. They've either been dead on or they revised up. They've gone back and said, actually, we added 30,000 more jobs, which is in that report as well. 28,000 jobs more than were listed were added in June and in May, which, by the way, when you add those numbers, would affect the percentage growth in jobs available in the ensuing months, because it would take that month number. And if you don't adjust that month number, and in these cases, it's, that's where we get the 3.46 versus the 3.5. If you're off by that little bit, who says these folks aren't just using June's listed job number to make their math work right here, and then telling the story of the 28,000 jobs added in that month and the month before, those 50,000 jobs accumulative, the 250,000 jobs accumulative over the last 5 months that were not previously listed, but the month numbers when they were posted would be slightly down. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? It would fuck with the math if you don't bother, if they're leaving a data point out. So good morning. Hi, everybody. Hi. Alex Jones got easy at $4 million. Yeah, that's, they're going after, that's the specific stuff. That's not punitive. It was 4 initially. They still have to do punitive. And he's got another trial with one of the other parents in the same court. Yeah, that's damages. Damage is the material damage. Them having to move, them having to change their life and their lifestyle to protect their own lives. there's like $1.2 million to go buy a new house because they got to get the fuck out of there or hire security and all kinds of other shit. That's the damages. Alex Jones will ultimately have to pay for, more than that punitive. Yeah. Yeah, that's just 2 of them, right? And and by the way, all the details we've heard and the contents of that fucking phone, which is hilarious. And it's technically speaking, if I'm going to be true to myself, it is not Alex Jones's phone. It is a hard drive copy, a forensic copy, legally made by his team and handed over. It was not a hard drive that was slapdash copied from a bunch of, ragged bullshit, waterlogged laptops dropped off by an invisible man, later picked up by 2 fake FBI agents, and then the files that were salvageable were handed over to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer so they could add more files onto a hard drive named laptop. Get the fuck out of here. But the Jones situation is they made a forensic, full-on copy of his phone, everything in it, and gave a copy of all that data to the plaintiff's attorneys. And and they didn't have that at the beginning of this trial when they were asking for damages, when they were asking for what they're going to get punitively. Everybody going forward, all the other family members and the team on, the legal teams working for each one of them will have access to that phone going forward, as will the January 6th committee, which is just, oh God, it's so good. It's so good. Jones can and will sue his attorneys for malpractice, which sucks. Yeah, it's fine. Couldn't happen to better people. I give a shit. I mean, honestly, he hired him. Not my problem. Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Hi. Yeah, you get what you pay for. I don't care what I like. He can try. Let him do it. Let his attorneys and then by the way, let him hire some more attorneys for the next shit. Who you want to go work for Alex Jones after he's hired his team last time because they found child porn allegedly on his fucking phone and turned it over to the plaintiffs, allegedly accidentally on purpose. Maybe Rudy recommended them. Well, that was the thing. Is like, these guys are so bad. I'm surprised that they don't actually, work for Trump already, or that he didn't hire them. Thank you so much. Ready for the deal? Hindress, the DCCC backing MAGA candidates in Republican primaries. Thanks for the ready for the deal is my fake name pronunciation. Yes. So the idea is that some of the progressive candidates that are running in these areas are too left for the general electorate in some of these areas. And a moderating Republican candidate will win against them. But a maggot might not. So the Democrats are boosting these people in these areas, hoping that the progressive, who's slightly more left than the district might be comfortable with, will choose them over somebody who's really far right and is an election denier and all that kind of stuff. It's a smart play in an area where, quite frankly, the progressives that they're trying to help with this strategy will not get elected on their own. They have no shot. Because if they ran a Kucinich-like moderate, Republican there in their primary, they would blow them out of the water. That's just how it works. Is Arizona turning red? No. My tip jar isn't working? Oh, dear. Maybe I have to reload it. It's being weird. Let's see. This is where they'll do the thing. Where are you, little guy? Come back, fellow. Let's see if I can. I'll change it to the pachinko machine. Hey, look, it's working. Hold on. Dunk. I'll put the pachinko machine version in there. I hope that's okay for a moment to see if I can reload it and save it. Ta-da. Okay. I am relatively multi-talented. Do you think it's possible they accidentally on purpose gave this info? Yes, I do, Maureen. I absolutely do. Especially this idea that let me see if I can find it. Because it's, I mean, we don't know. It's all I've seen is rumors on Twitter, which take those with a salt lick. But let's see. Alex Jones phone. Oops. Yeah, LA Mag 19 hours ago. Here it is. Oh boy. This is LA Magazine. This is not good. Oh boy. Files sent by Alex Jones included child porn Sandy Hook lawyer's claim. Jones, who was just ordered to pay $4.1 million, says the images were a malware attack attempting to embed child porn on his servers. So why did you copy them to your phone? What'd you do? They had the monitor up and you were like taking pictures of them? The fuck? What does his server have to do with his phone? I use a Alex Jones phone. It's a suppository format. Texas jury on Thursday awarded the parents of Sandy Hook shooting victim $4.1 million in compensatory damages in their $150 million defamation lawsuit. I'm going to guess they go closer to 50, if not more, once they go to the punitive for saying it was a hoax, and that's not even the worst news. Lawyers representing the family said the files they were sent by the InfoWars founder and an excitable babbler as part of the discovery process contained child pornography. According to court papers filed on Monday, the images found in electronic documents requested during a hearing back in April. I remember this when this came up. FBI advised counsel that its review located numerous additional illegal images which had apparently been sent to InfoWars' email address. Jones said he had nothing to do with the images. The thumbs up was a complete accident. I'm kidding. During a segment on InfoWars last week, Jones's lawyer, Norm Pattis, said the FBI cleared Jones after an inquiry found there was no suggestion that anyone here wanted that material, ever looked at it, or even knew about it. Pattis said the pornography was found in emails sent to Jones that were never opened. By the way, this would not shock me if maggots sent this stuff and went, this is all from John Podesta, or whatever. You know what I mean? Where they just found images online and started sending them to, like, see, here's Hillary, and they poorly photoshopped Hillary Clinton and Huma Abedin and some pictures, you know. Although there is a thing where he had there is a thing where he had trap porn, like transsexual porn. It's not the name for the person, but the act itself. Yeah, we'll figure it out. On his phone when he was like holding it in his hand and people could see it. How he doesn't do email or handle it. It's his assistant who handles it. So why would it have been why would it be unopened? It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, these guys seem to be, yeah, that was the, hold on. I'll see if I can find that as well. Yeah, this is from 2018. I gotta find it without the picture on there. Hold on. There you go. Trans porn star reacts to her video appearing on the Alex Jones show. But he watches Marissa Minx's trap porn, apparently. Is there a... Oh, this is an interview. They don't show the... they don't show the picture or the the picture of where, like that one shot of him. Let's see if I can find the actual, because there's a phone. Hold on. I don't. I'm scared to like. Yeah, there it is. Infowars, Alex Jones appear to be viewing transgender Marissa Mayk's pornography while online. Like, because he turned his phone sideways, and all of your open tabs are on there. That's hilarious. Hey, we're not here to yuck anybody's yum, but just don't be a hypocrite about it and attack other people. You do you, boo. That's amazing. No, my eyes are itchy this morning. I was never mind. It's just cat hair sometimes, and stay out of my bedroom, bub. I'm not there. It's a camera. And I mean, if you want, you know the rule, you can always just hang a sock over it. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. LOL ball down. If you found out they called it a couple days ago, like the crying game, but a lot less delivery. Okay. Yeah, it makes it yeah, it makes me squint. I'm like, I wake up sometimes and there's like cat dander will sometimes make my eyes itchy in the mornings, and then it's fine after a while. You scamp. You devil, you. Alex Jones' lawyer may have gotten a heads up that the DOJ has Jones's phone. Oh, they certainly know they have it. Yeah. I mean, and they're not going to rep him in that. These guys are civil guys. That's criminal. He's in deep shit. Oh, I'm so excited. How many cups of coffee have I had? I am not yet through one. I've had half a cup so far. I had a very teary-eyed day yesterday. That's all I will say. Other than that, we'll see. But shall we? By the way, you're watching HAL Sparks Mornings, Mega Worldwide. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up on your way out the door, trolls. I know you need something to do, and I'm glad we're here for you. But sorry for your misery this morning. The jobs report days are rough for you guys. It's got to burn a little bit. Chafes, letting Trump do that to you, sans lube for so long. Eventually, you're either going to toughen up and get a callus, or you're just going to learn to like it. So here we are this morning with our trends, shall we? Good morning, everybody. Charlie Crist. Oh, that's because, what's her name? Nikki Fried is posting stuff about Charlie Crist, and his BS. Yeah, there you go. And he's trying, like, she's trying to like push back against him about whether he would sign a bill like unto what they have, I think, in North Dakota. That he ran as a pro-life Dem. And so she's trying to muscle him out because she thinks she can win, which, I mean, do what you got to do. Fall in love and then fall in line. Everybody's still doing this. Both of them have a shot. It's fine. Either of them would do fine against Ron DeSantis. Let's see how Kramer's doing this morning. I'm all in on Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Okay, fine. Never take financial advice from Jim Cramer, CNBC host dragged over Coinbase call. Really? He didn't see the fact that Bitcoin is nothing? You mean the people who are telling you gold is real money, and the US dollar isn't, but Bitcoin is? Yeah, that was he didn't really do that, did he? Did he join the have fun being poor bullshit? This was almost a hashtag that all the crypto dudes were all saying for if you doubted being all in on crypto. Good morning, everyone. Remember, Jim Cramer and Kathy Wood panic sold Coinbase last week at 51. It's $88. Yeah, it's not going to be like 150, and that's weird. Is it 113? There we go. Just 1 week after Jim Cramer became bearish on Coinbase, the stock ripped 89%. The Coinbase rollover on a possible SEC investigation is very bad news, given we don't know what it's about, but they were always hoping to avoid SEC scrutiny. All right. Well, again, there's going to be all these trolls in here trying to get, please bring crypto back. Jobs. POTUS added. Here we go. The number's extraordinary. We're a growth country and the rest of the world is not, said Jim Cramer about the jobs number. I think there's something to be said for a country that's very strong, and that number shows we're very strong. It's going to be very upsetting to no wonder they're attacking him today. But this guy told you that you shouldn't invest in like a Bitcoin coin wallet. What a big dummy. Yeah, that's just a bunch of like, never take advice from Jim Cramer. Trying to stop your friend from taking advice from Jim Cramer. I don't know what that is. We like Coinbase to 475. Yeah, it's a year later. He got out. He started worrying about the company as a way of getting crypto, I suppose. Who gives a shit? These guys are idiots. Like, I don't even want to try and like unpack all the reasons why I shouldn't give a shit what Jim Cramer thinks or whether anybody fighting over it is wasting their time or not. Here's the big one, of course. Payrolls increased 528,000 in July, much better than expected, and a sign of strength for jobs market. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know what is going on here, but it looks like something out of Mad Max Fury Road. It's just the person who's wearing a mask, but they're behind this conveyor piece, like this belt. Looks like a motorcycle, like the belt system. But anyways, it looks like it's attached, so it's amazing. It's like so futuristic. No permanent loss. It's a regular ongoing source of difficulty. All's well, though physically, it's all emotional. I hope that helps. It is a problem and a heartbreak that I have to deal with until 2029. Anyways, payrolls increased 528,000 in July in this economy at this hour. I mean, it's fun to watch all these, like, I'm up to date. Get the fuck out of here. I'm up to date. You're like anywhere near. Oh my gosh. Sarah, thank you so much for the Venmo. Appreciate it. Great way to support the show. It's right there if you want to help out. Consider it a being right all the time tax. I don't know. I'm kidding. Just whatever. As Tucky is a Tucker Carlson thing. Right. Yeah, everybody's going back to the time that Tucker Carlson got his ass handed to him by Jon Stewart, and he's never dealt with it since. Yes, there people are retweeting this section. Back when he would always wear, he wanted to be like old school Brookings Institute, and what was the guy, William F. Buckley. Although he, by the time he was more well known on the news, Buckley was not wearing a tie at all in his PBS and discussions that he would have online. But it was that crowd, right? Oh yeah, Mark Meadows. So Trump isn't supposed to talk to Mark Meadows anymore, which means he's going to talk to Mark Meadows today. Oh, things that have magically appeared. White House call logs for 187 minutes on January 6th. Ooh. January 6th text for 24 Secret Service agents. January 6th text for Trump's 2 highest Homeland Security officials. Meadows docs, which he burned. The party of butter emails is full of shit. Shocker. Yeah. New CNN reporting. Trump has specifically been counseled to cut contact with his former White House chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows is now in the Linwood, Sidney Powell category. Watch the dominoes begin to fall. We are on the road to accountability, though the road is long, unpaved, and filled with treacherous potholes. It's coming. Agreed. And you, by the way, you want his followers to give up on him before he goes to jail. That's part of the strategy. Because if you don't, a bunch of them are going to kill some people. And to mitigate those deaths, we can all wait a little while longer for Trump to get his comeuppance. I'm fine with that. I don't need some, rando Jan 6 maggot to blow up a courthouse or shoot a judge or fire into a crowd because of Trump being mistreated. I'd rather him get to fuck that guy before we throw him in jail. You just have to trust that they will. Or that even if they don't fully turn against him, they just won't give their life for him anymore. Fender laid off 300 people. Where? Here in Mexico. Where most of their guitars are made. Donald Trump's lawyer. Okay, that's what they think in here. CNN reports that Trump has specifically counseled to cut Yeah. All these people ask for pardons. Clown meme. Him fisting himself. To avoid speaking with former and current aides who may become part of a criminal investigation. Who the fuck is this guy supposed to talk to? If that's the standard, he can't even talk to Don and Eric. That might be a plus. You what? This is your Perry Mason moment. The Jan 6 committee will immediately receive the phone of Alex Jones after the judge denies motion to keep law enforcement from getting it. Ooh. Ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-ba-bum, ba-bum. I'm curious about this part, though. Is has this stuff popped in? Because this is new to me this morning. Things that have magically disappeared. That's why I was misreading it. Damn it. I was like, they finally showed up. I was like, oh crap. That was my fault. I misread that. I was reading too fast. Text messages from Senator Mike Lee communicated extensively with Mark Meadows about Trump's effort to overturn the election, but Lee tells Margaret Hoover he warned them against pursuing their alternative electoral strategy. I was suspicious of this from the very beginning. I mean, I helped with it, and I, of course, carried Trump's testicles everywhere that day, but I was suspicious about it. I didn't say anything. It didn't change any of my behavior, but I had a feeling that I never acted on that I should get points for never acting on. Jesus Christ. Sounds like Trump team worried Meadows will flip and cooperate with DOJ. I mean, that he won't have a choice. Here you go. Moreover, Mr. Meadows, this is Kash Patel. Kash Patel is like the secretary in charge of disappearing text messages at the Pentagon, who was then chief of staff to former acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller, nonstop throughout the day of January 6th. And among other things, Mr. Meadows apparently knows if and when Mr. Trump was engaged in discussions regarding the National Guard's response to the Capitol riot, a point that is contested, but about which Mr. Meadows provided documents to the... Yeah, okay. Let's see. Also Meadows, or it is... Mr. Meadows sent an email to an individual about the events on January 6th and said the National Guard would be present to protect pro-Trump people and that many more would be available on standby. He also reportedly introduced Mr. Trump to then DOJ official Jeffrey Clark. Mr. Clark went on to recommend to Mr. Trump that he be installed as acting attorney general, and the DOJ would send a letter to the state officials urging them to take certain actions that would affect the outcome of the November 2020 election by, among other things, appointing alternate slate of electors to cast electoral votes for Mr. Trump rather than now President Biden. Fuck these guys. Just done. Bye, stupid. Mark Meadows has his own lawyer, an excellent one, and that may end up being a huge problem for the former guy. Yeah, I would agree. Not Tommy Lauren, right? Are we going back to... That's a cat. That's a person. Oh, yeah. So here, on the bright... Yeesh. Yeah, remember when they were knocking boots? Allegedly. Brittany Griner is a cautionary tale. Hate America? Think it's oppressive? Go to another country, play stupid games, and find out what oppression and no justice looks like. Too bad, too sad. Yeah, she's awful. There's nothing new about her. And by the way, she's not alone in this thought. This is all over the fucking place. Bag, Biden, boom. Bag, Biden, boom. Bag, boom, big Biden, boom. Lilu Dallas multipass. We love Rob Reiner. I'm just saying. Grace, yeah, I mean, it's 50-year low again. Fucking hell. Peter Navarro, Jesus Christ. Guy who, was Anna Navarro? Okay, yeah. Both of them are in the news. I suppose it can overlap in there. Navarro is just shitting on Jared Kushner in this stuff. I've read. I'm not looking at this. We're gonna look at this later on the show. I love watching this dude flip out about stuff. I could play Navarro in the movie. Let's do it. Let's see. And then Navarro there. Yeah. Man, an immunity in exchange for handing over government emails he sent from a private server. Instead, DOJ is suing him. Irony is dead. Yeah. And the Green Bay sweep keeps losing yardage. No question. Okay. Former White House trader, latest filing in his contempt case. This is fun. The government has determined that the U.S. House Select Committee to investigate the January 6th on the United States Capitol was properly constituted. The government determined the subpoena the Select Committee issued Dr. Navarro was valid and enforceable. And the government determined that former President Trump's invocation of executive privileges as to his closest aides and advisors was of no consequence. That's amazing. Of no consequence. Hold on. Although the committee claimed that Dr. Navarro did not provide any evidence that President Trump had ever invoked executive privilege, it ignored the fact that President Trump had previously and publicly instructed him to protect executive privilege in response to process. Sorry, dummy. Yeah, these texts are going to come out, like the lost Secret Service texts, the DOD. They're not gone. They are not. They are somewhere, and they will be found. Yeah, the biggest problem with his assertion is that he wrote a fucking book about all the things he's asked to testify on, and now he wants executive privilege cover for something he wrote in his book. Just like, yeah, we need a couple more details. No, that part's privileged. Based on what? Everything's privileged. It's all privileged. Well, then why'd you write about it? It was a privilege. What a goon. And then, oh, this is like, are we in a Southern California city? Where is it? Is it like what, Riverside or something? Oh, in Orange County, yeah. Well, behind the Orange Curtain, it's the Republican bastion in Southern California. It would violate the California. Fucking, you can't do it. You can't within a state stop people from driving across county lines or stop people from getting services the state recognizes as illegal with that. I mean, you don't get to create fiefdoms, dummy. You could if you wanted to go live in Slab City, but I'm guessing that's a fairly pro-choice area. Dude got 3 years, right? Viktor Orban, who just gave us who gave a speech. Yeah, we do not want to become people of mixed race, and that the Hungarians and the Europeans shouldn't mix races with other people. And then all of a sudden, dude gets booked at CPAC. What a fucking shocker! She wants a biblical citizenship test in the U.S. Oh, so she's leaving. Hi, Allie. Yes, the U.S. is adding jobs, but inflation is rising faster than wages, meaning that most workers continue to get pay cuts. Adding jobs alone doesn't mean anything. Okay, Robert, it's year over year, dummy. Wage increases are permanent. Year over year inflation or CPI caused by supply shock is not the same thing as monetary inflation. It's fucking hell. Would it be too much to ask, since we're already rowing against the current in so many ways, to put your fucking paddle in the water and go in the direction we're trying to go, instead of going, I don't know, maybe the wave has a point. Fucking hell. Maybe humans aren't meant to beat nature. Yeah. Job loss in the pandemic is fully restored. Way to go, Joe. Yep. Yeah, I mean, Trump is spending a lot of his money going after, rhinos, people insufficiently loyal. And I'm fine with that. Spend your fucking money ousting people. I just don't want us to do it. It's dumb. In advance of meetings with the U.S. Country team led by U.S. Ambassador to Japan and the commanders of the U.S. 7th Fleet and the U.S. Force Japan, our congressional delegation met the U.S. Marine Detachment and U.S. Embassy in Tokyo in 3 hours. That's nice. The time Ashley Babbitt was a protester, not a terrorist. And what was she doing inside the building? U.S.-Chinese crisis on Taiwan as a result of errors on both sides. Get the fuck out of here. This is more the same kind of shit that gave you, like, Ukraine's sovereignty is a question of whether or not the U.S. or Russia wants it. Do you think the Ukrainians would stop fighting if they didn't have the weapons backup? They just let themselves be killed if they didn't have help from us. If you think that's gross. Hold on, I'm going to scroll this down. The U.S. military is struggling to recruit troops. The Border Patrol is running out of short of agents. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is focused on hiring 87,000 congressman from Texas. Yeah, I mean, How's that Operation Lone Star thing going? How many National Guard troops have they lost? 9? Yeah. Oh, I don't go. Military experiments, animals like cats and pigeons react to zero gravity. Pets in space. Yeah. Al Qaeda leader dead. Finally confronting climate change. Finally confronting gun violence. Sweden and Finland joined NATO. Rebuilding U.S. microchip industry. Massive new infrastructure investment underway, which, by the way, hasn't even started yet. Look at the 3.4, by the way. This was before 3.46. And COVID deaths down 86%. Year over year, by the way, after they'd already been going down in the beginning of the last year, too. The infrastructure spending and investment stuff, that's part of this jobs number, but that hasn't even really begun. At least 703 people have been killed by police in the U.S. this year, and it's barely August. Does that sound like public safety to you? Yes, depending on the person. In a country of 340 million people, with the crime rates that we have in some major cities, does anyone think that that number is off? They didn't just walk up and snuff people sitting in their car. Fucking hell. The fact that there are monsters in the world does not mean the world is full of monsters. And anybody telling you that it does is usually selling monster spray for a living. Yeah, she got Russia's ready to discuss the U.S. government's prisoner swap proposal. We're going to get both of them back. In a year and a half, Joe Biden and company have taken the U.S. economy to where it was in the early 1970s to where it was in the late 1960s when the numbers were better. And it took LBJ and Nixon about 7 years to do the same thing. Yes, the Dow is down to 32.5 on massive jobs numbers and an obvious increase by the Fed coming. Sorry, did it crater below 30,000 again? No, it's down 0.39%. This is terrible. Huh? Al's reading trends right now and isn't seeing the chats. He gets combined feed from all streams. It's true. Yeah, if I'm missing something, China imports 85% of its energy. The spray does not work. I agree. Where'd you go to school? I went to New Trier High School, and then I took extension courses at UCLA. I did not go to college or university. I could not afford it. 16 days after I graduated high school, I grabbed my shit, I got in my car, I drove to LA to be an actor and a comedian. And it worked out. But for the record, I dated a girl who was getting her degree in economics and market psychology in the 90s. I dated her for 2.5 years, and I read all of her textbooks so that I could have discussions with her and help her study, because I'm that kind of boyfriend. That's how I roll. So that was the starting point. President Biden doesn't fuck around. He's doing a job that Trump can't do. This is true, especially because Trump doesn't have the job anymore. I'm sorry. That's just mean. Thank you, Carl. Was she from Canada? No, she was not. I made it 2 years at university. Recommend a year or two. It's very fun. I would love to. I mean, it's one of those things I've wanted to go back and get a degree or do it on the side. Every time I see ads for get your bachelor's, online in your spare time, I go, ooh, spare time. What's that? But then I go, that'd be nice. I'd like to do that. Thanks, moms. Oh, Biden is speaking right now? Excellent. Shall we? Hold on. WhiteHouse.gov. You bet your ass he's going to be talking about this live now. Hold on. I got to put this over here and back it up so we can see it. He's wearing the shades. Hold on. Here we go. Let's put this in here. I'll try and get this up here. Whoop. Get this going. All right. Playing. Turn this on. And I've got to plug my headphones in. Where's my cable? There it is. Sorry. I unplug it
Well,
sometimes.
good afternoon. Today we received another outstanding jobs report. 528,000 jobs were added just last month to this country's employment. 528,000 jobs. We have now nearly doubled what we're almost at 10 million jobs. Almost at 10 million jobs since I took office. That's the fastest job growth in history. Today, we also matched the lowest unemployment rate in America in the last 50 years, 3.5%. Yes, 3.5%. Today, there are more people working in America than before the pandemic began. In fact, there are more people working in America than any point in American history. You know, what we're also seeing is something that just a few years ago, many experts said was literally impossible. The revitalization of American manufacturing.
Right.
Since I took office, we've created 642,000 American manufacturing jobs in America. We've seen the biggest and the fastest job recovery in American manufacturing history since the 50s. And some people may have given up on American manufacturing, but the American people didn't, and I know I never did. That's why I made it, make it in America, that phrase, make it in America, the cornerstone of my economic plan. And today's report proves, make it in America isn't just a slogan, it's my administration. It's a reality. I've also made it a priority to bring down the federal deficit. After watching my predecessor every single year increase the debt, the federal deficit, every year for the 4 years he was in office, I said no more. The days of exploding federal deficits are over, and I've kept my word. Just take a look at the facts. The deficit is down a record of $1.7 trillion this year. That's right, 1.7 trillion with a T. And that's on top of $350 billion reduction in the deficit my first year in office. Now, I know people will hear today's extraordinary jobs report and say they don't see it, they don't feel it in their own lives. I know how hard it is. I know it's hard to feel good about job creation when you already have a job and you're dealing with rising prices, food and gas and so much more. I get it. I literally can remember sitting at my mom and dad's dining room table and watching them choose which bills they're going to pay that month because there wasn't enough money to pay all the bills. I get it. That's why I'm doing everything in my power to lower the cost for families. You know, we've seen some progress. Gas prices are coming down. They're down almost $1 a gallon from where they were just a month ago. And, you know, we're making progress. We now have more than 50 straight days of falling gas prices in this country. The price at the pump is now less than $3.99 a gallon in more than half of the gas stations in America. In fact, $3.79 a gallon is now the most common price paid at the pump in the country, $3.79. While we're not there yet, we're on the cusp of passing the most important step we can pass to help Congress to help us lower inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act. That bill will lower prescription drug costs by giving Medicare the power to negotiate for lower drug prices. Lower drug prices. That's something the American people have been promised for years, for decades, and we're on the verge of finally getting that done. The bill also keeps down health care insurance costs by keeping health care premiums for those on the Affordable Care Act down $2,400 a year. It'll make historic investments in clean energy security, The security of the country is at stake. We're going to save American families hundreds of dollars a year on paying their energy bills by allowing them to have money to invest, by allowing them to put in new windows and doors and solar panels and the like, and get tax credits for that. Also going to restore some fairness to the tax code by imposing corporate minimum tax of 15% on billion-dollar companies. That will put an end to what we've seen in recent years, where 55 of the largest companies in America, the Fortune 500, paid zero federal taxes on income over $40 billion combined in profit. This bill is going to reduce the deficit by another $300 billion. And one more point. This bill will not, let me repeat this bill will not raise taxes on anybody making less than $400,000 a year. When it comes to the benefits of this bill, you don't have to take my word for it. Nearly 130 economists, 7 Nobel laureates in the economics, I should say, former secretaries of Treasury, former Federal Reserve Vice Chair, former director of the Congressional Budget Office wrote that this bill will, quote, will, quote, fight inflation and lower costs for American families while setting the stage for strong, stable, and broadly shared long-term economic growth. In short, this bill is a game changer for working families and our economy. I look forward to the Senate taking up this legislation and passing it as soon as possible. You know, I know most families are focused on just putting 3 meals on the table, taking care of their kids and paying their bills. Helping you do that is my job. That's the president's job as well. I have one more job, which is not only to focus on getting America through the economic challenge we're facing, but to look to the future, to make sure we're building an economy that meets the needs of American families to be able to succeed and for America to win the future. When you step back, today's jobs report is part of a broader story. For decades, the American economy has been struggling even before the pandemic. Middle class Americans were working harder, but they were falling further behind. All the rewards of the economy seem to be going to those at the very top. When I came to office, I was determined to change that. I ran for president saying I was going to restore the backbone of America, the middle class, and grow the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, everybody does well. Everybody. The wealthy do very well. And the poor have a way up. My economic plan rests on 5 pillars. Get America back to work at a record pace. All Americans, leaving no one behind. And we're doing just that. In the process, for the first time in a long time, workers are being empowered. Instead of workers begging employers for work, we're seeing employers have to compete for American workers. And we're seeing the resurgence of worker organizations and unionization. Where I come from, that's a good thing. And it's long overdue. 2, we're literally rebuilding this nation. Our roads, our bridges, our ports, our airports, clean water, high-speed internet for all Americans. For too long, America's failed to invest in itself. We changed that this year with the biggest investment in America since Eisenhower's interstate highway system.
True.
We're now committing to rebuild America, not just for tomorrow, but for the next decade. And that includes not only investments in things like roads and bridges, but investments in research and development, the next generation technologies from artificial intelligence to quantum computing to semiconductors. They're all going to remake the world. As I said earlier, we're going to build in America, build it here in America. Let me be clear. We're going to invest it in America. We're going to make it in America. We're going to win the economic competition of the 21st century in America. 3, give working people in the middle class a fighting chance. More than just a little breathing room, a real chance to get ahead by making their everyday things more affordable and accessible, like health care, prescription drug costs, energy, child care, education, housing, and so much more. Because when we lower those costs, of all the necessary things, we improve their standard of living. 4, make our economy more competitive and less concentrated. When too few companies dominate a market, that reduces competition, drives up the cost for American consumers. That's been going on for too long. We need to give small business and entrepreneurs more opportunities and consumers more choices at affordable prices. The fifth thing, the fifth pillar, we're going to reward work, not just wealth in America, so that everyone pays their fair share in taxes. I'm a capitalist. I'm not trying to punish anybody, but I'm saying everyone should pay their fair share, just their fair share. America is a nation that was built on work. We can never lose sight of that. That's why the strength and pace of our job recovery is so important. In the past, it has taken years for Americans to recover from an economic crisis that we inherited. And when that's happened, millions of people suffered for years and years just trying to get back to where they were before, just trying to get back on their feet. Well, that didn't happen this time. You know, my dad used to say that a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in the community. It's about being able to look your child in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. That's the economy I'm determined to build today. That's the economy I'm looking at. Now, part of changing the way things have been done in the past is by restoring the faith of the American people in their government. Today, I'm going to be signing very shortly 2 bipartisan bills that begin to restore that faith. The key driver of our economic recovery is the resurgence of American small business. Small business hires many people as the major corporations. We just learned last week that small businesses with less than 50 employees created nearly 3 million jobs in 2021. 3 million. That's the most ever in a single year. And more Americans applied to start new businesses than ever before in our history. Mm-hmm. And part of our plan is making sure that when we commit funds to help American small business, it actually goes to those small businesses they're supposed to go to. Mm-hmm. We know that the last administration, that's not what happened. Too much of small business relief funding, which was passed by the Congress, ended up in the hands of those who either didn't need it,
I mean, Trump
or
Steaks
criminal
isn't a real
syndicates who
business?
outright stole the money. Not only did the Trump administration let the biggest businesses with the teams of lawyers and accountants skip to the front of the line, mm-hmm. my predecessor undermined the watchdogs who were supposed to be on the job to make sure relief went to mom and pop businesses who were supposed to get it in the first place. In my State of the Union address, I made it clear, the watchdogs are back. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Justice Department named a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud, who got to work right away. In June of this year, the chief prosecutor told Congress that it was essential to extend the statute of limitations for certain pandemic fraud to extend to 10 years to make sure fraudsters can't run out the clock.
Right.
Congress acted. Today I'm signing 2 bipartisan bills that will give the federal and local prosecutors more time to hold criminals accountable for defrauding the American people during a once-in-a-century pandemic. Look, the American people deserve to know that their tax dollars are being spent as intended. My message to those cheats out there is this: you can't hide. We're going to find you. We're going to make you pay back what you stole and hold you accountable under the law. I want to thank the members of both parties in the House and Senate for getting these bills to my desk. And now, I'm going to sign them into law as proof of another piece of my economic plan. The belief that in the United States of America there is nothing beyond our capacity. Nothing when we work together as the United States of America. That's what these bills represent. We work together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Given today's jobs number.
What do you think about today's jobs number? Did somebody really ask that? This is with rebound COVID, I think, even.
Just
Are they?
signed the Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP, and Bank Fraud Enforcement Harmonization Act. Now I'm going to sign the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Fraud Statute of Limitations.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know it's hot out here for you all, but thank you.
Can you give us a comment on Brittany Griner, sir?
I'm hopeful. We're working hard.
Do you need to talk the presidency again to this new sentence?
It's funny. Hold on. I personally have to say that there's a part of me that really enjoys when, because Biden knows he's got a temper over the years, and he can get a little his Irish temper that Jill always talks about when they're in their interviews. That's an ongoing thing that his staff is like, is he gaffe prone? Does he say the right thing at the wrong time and the wrong thing at the right time? And that's it's an ongoing issue that he's dealt with as a House member, as a senator, and certainly even as vice president, and getting out over his skis on certain stories. And so the lesson of that is either change who you are or change the circumstance. And if you don't want to change who you are because you like being mad at certain things that make you angry, and you like being outspoken about certain things, and you recognize that, you just go, I'm just not going to take the bait, because I recognize that if I let them ask me that one, I'm going to follow up, because I know my personality as an agreeable human being. I'm going to sit there all day. And if I do that, eventually I'm going to get irritated at one of these dickheads who's asking doocy questions. And I'm going to undermine my own plan. I'm going to undermine my own. That'll be the story instead of what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to do what I'm here to do. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do today. If somebody yells something, I might quickly answer it because as I feel like it, but it's never going to be more than a couple of sentences. Then I'm going to get the fuck out of there, because that's not their job when they're in the pool, is to get the president today shocked and surprised everyone with a right. So I approve. I really do. There you go. And by the way, welcome trolls. We're nearing the end of the show, but it's never too late to come on in here. And thank you for joining us today. I know it's some of the only respite you can get in your daily troll activities. Half the time you're screaming at people you don't understand, and then the rest of the time you're screaming on behalf of people who don't understand you. It's a lot of work. All right, what's happening in Fulton County? Oh, because of election. Okay, that stuff. Yeah, because the Justice Department's going after them. Okay, hold on. There's the trends shuffled a little bit while we were watching that. Fulton County. It's Arizona shit, or is this Michigan? I forget. At this point, they all blur together. Think July to Trump's call it. Yeah, Georgia. That's right. That's right. They all, after all this fucking Mike Pillow nonsense, they all blur together sometimes. Very dangerous place to be pregnant in America is getting even scarier. What, the bathroom at CPAC? Oh, be pregnant. Jane Fonda embody the coastal grandmother aesthetic in new music video. The what? Okay. Yeah, fine. The U.S. China says it's canceling or suspending dialogue with the U.S. on issues from climate change to military relations and anti-drug efforts. Oh, all the things that they were just pretending to give a shit about. They're going to stop pretending. Oh, dear. Because Pelosi went to Taiwan. By the way, I support her trip to Taiwan, and everybody was like, "But it's going to be scary if they don't. It's going to be nuclear war." Shut the fuck up. The Chinese respond. You want to know how afraid you need to be? The Chinese responded by putting tanks on their own beach while sunbathers were there. They just decided to drive tanks down their own. Are you fucking stupid? Bob Seska did an interview with a staunch Jimmy Dore critic. Oh, is that Carlos Alzraki? China's breaking up with Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Oh, dear. Epstein Maxwell's intelligence ties, or even the full story of the Epstein-Clinton relationship. You can pre-order my book, One Nation Under Blackmail, directly from... Okay. Oh, he keeps saying, like Epstein and the Clintons. People are cutting in Joe Rogan going, oh, like it was a big deal. Is that what's going to happen? Yeah. No, we meant like the guy there's actually party video with. As memes go, it's a good cut. It's just, you know. I mean, try that hard if that's what you need. Just remind people that Jeffrey Epstein's first contact with the sexual blackmail network came his benefactors was likely a child victim when he was part of a gifted kids program at Columbia run by Donald Barr. Oh, yeah, Bill Barr's father. That was the, yeah. Wait a minute. The what? Yeah, but he worked there. Barr's father hired him. Yeah. He wasn't a kid there. Says Jeffrey was at Harvard. They gave him an office at Harvard after he'd been arrested for, again, he was arrested in 2006. After that, up until 2018, he still had an office there as well. Yeah. That's where Ted Cruz went to school. So, you know, there you go. Eek. The man's answer is, where's their client list? Yeah, I mean, again, all of us are like, sorry, if you hung around with that dude or you interacted with him in any regard in that kind of stuff, you done, son. Goodbye. Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine. Well, the idea, true, that that on the list, Epstein kept people like Trump on there under different names on their insistence. Addresses the Batgirl cancellation because it cost too much money to finish for a web release, and it doesn't. And it didn't make. It wasn't expected to make enough money theatrically to cover its cost because they didn't think it through. I mean, Warner Brothers and DC are just in the business of fucking up the DC universe, the DC, cinematic universe, the DCCU. I mean, I don't know why anybody, Komodo, or are we talking about dragons or somebody? Yep, there we go. Komodo dragons can fuck right off. Nah, it's a fucking dinosaur. Oi! What? Nah! He's fucking swallowing that thing. That's what the neck motion is. That's how he's squeezing it down his own throat. Yeah! Yeah, that's what everybody's watching the same video. Like, get the fuck out of here with that thing. Jesus Christ. That deer is the size of a 13-year-old kid. No. Brett Kavanaugh. I don't know which is grosser. Anyway. Yeah, this whole thing where Ray was just bouncing tips they got to the Trump White House, like they were acting as they could. You guys are going to need to defend him against this stuff. Yeah, it's just gross. Again, we're only discussing that fucker because of who won the 2016 election by a fucking hair's breadth, because a bunch of people went, does it really matter? Is there really any difference? This is all on us. I felt like I was saying everything I needed to say around that time, but I guess I fucking wasn't. Because we all should have been a lot harder on people who are like, I don't know, 2 legs in the same pair of pants. It's kind of, what's the difference? Tell you what the fucking difference is. Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett, basically slam dunking women's rights. Alito doing a fucking victory lap. And Clarence Thomas finally feeling like he has the backup to get rid of gay rights on all fronts. Fuck you with this, like, I don't know. But the Democrats need to, I just don't feel inspired. Shut the fuck up, you child. Uh-oh, Milwaukee. That's a good one. Break out the brats. Milwaukee beats Nashville and will host 2024. I see. Oh, the RNC. Pfft. What a surprise. It's because they need to salvage it. They're trying to bring, they know they can't do it in Georgia. Basically, this proves that Milwaukee's essentially a swing state, and they need it. They think they've got enough of a sympathetic crowd, but they can drive it towards 2024. Yeah. It won't work. Sorry, Republicans. You're not doing yourself any favors by being in Milwaukee. Bag, baden, boom. There we go. We're back to those. I saw there was one of the, let's see, the Dark Brandon memes were showing up today. We'll end on this. Where yeah, here they are. There's a bunch of them in here. Somebody did a list of them. Dark Brandon. Your malarkey's been going on for long enough, kiddo. This is like, oh, here it is. Yeah, this was the person who did a thread of them. This is Dark Brandon. I fucking love this. This is great. Exterminate all malarkey. I love it when I wake up and Joe Biden's my president, right? And this is like Dark Brandon night. This is him eating ice cream and explosion. Gets COVID, can't breathe, gets COVID, kills a top Al-Qaeda leader, Dark Brandon. Use this picture. There's one down here that I just love. I have, this is all these gangster shots, which is really funny. This one's interesting too. I don't know why the bearded, the like one-eyed, call me Snake. Dark Brandon is awesome. It's weird. Only Dark Brandon can get sick with COVID, be locked up in his room, and still assassinate the leader of Al-Qaeda. Give him cornrows. I don't know what that is. The malarkey will end. The Dark Brandon rises. Where is it? Game over, man. I'm Brandon, and I kick Trump's ass. That's funny. That's the Dark Brandon Matrix one. Where's the one? Oh, here it is. There he is sitting on the throne. Dark Brandon is the best Brandon. I'm in a crowd. Ripping the Choco Taco out of heaven to bring it back to life. All these gangster shots. The bearded ones are really funny. There it is. This is the one I like. This business. I did that, and I'll fucking do it again. I like. We need stickers that say both. I did that, and I'll fucking do it again. This post was fact-checked by real Dark Brandon acolytes. True. He looks like George Carlin in those the bearded shots. It's funny. Dark Brandon rising. Say my name, Dark Brandon. This is, you know who I am? Say my name, Dark Brandon. You goddamn right I am. Brandon sends his regards. That's a good one too. Actions speak louder than golf. Oh, it was fun. Yeah, somebody was doing, let's see if we can do the photos. They did a whole rundown. See if I can, yeah, Dark Brandon is trending. This was the run of them. Hillary's America, the secret history of the Democratic Party. I am a demon. This is. We built the wall. That's awesome. Yeah, these are all the DJ Joe. Yo, maggots. Club room fuck off is over there. That's actually a really solid one, I have to say. That one's the Photoshop on that is fucking rock solid. This is, yeah. I just love the use of malarkey in all these, which is just really fun. This is his gunshot where he's holding up the rifle. Dark Brandon, nice. And then, of course, the drop your Dark Brandon memes below. Love them. May also include any of those Joe Obama memes from a while back. They bring me joy. Twitter award. No more bourgeois malarkey. What? Malarkey detected. I do too. I like him with a beard as well. We can't, obviously we're not at the point where we can have a president with a beard. It's all left over from we still haven't gotten over that monarchy thing where kings used to have beards and it's just, you don't do it. Oh yeah, this is the John Wick 2 version, Dark Brandon. You will kneel. That one I like. That's very strange. I don't even know that looks like Biden. It's more like Jimmy Durante. I think that might actually be Corn Pop. I'm not sure. POV, you are being ritualistically sacrificed by Dark Brandon as a crowd of acolytes shrieks in ecstasy. Oh. Oh. Tie me to a missile and fire it at the suburbs. I'm ready. Fate whispers to the warrior, you cannot withstand the storm. The warrior whispers back, I am the storm. Dark Brandon. See, because the thing is like these, it's like the Trump, Rambo, and Rocky pictures, these things, the Rambo American, like these are absurd and goofy and fucked up. And like, if you did this with Biden, we'd all know it was sort of a joke and kind of, we'd be in on it and we'd be like, yeah, I appreciate the guy and this is kind of funny and da-da. The Trump fans whack off to this garbage. I love John Wick too. All three movies are magic. This one I like. Him re-sewing the American flag back together is nice. I wouldn't call that Dark Brandon, but new pod released. Gas prices neutralized. COVID-19 neutralized. Antifa fully armed. Roe v. Wade coming soon. Global home. What? Home something? Globo homo. Is that what they're doing? They try so hard. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyways, it's 11. I got to take off. I will see you guys this afternoon. I think we should do some like Schadenfreude videos this afternoon, don't you? Like where we look at some of the videos of people going, well, this fucking jobs market's gonna suck, and then and then immediately play the video afterwards where they're like, the new jobs numbers are out. Flop sweat. Should we do that? I haven't watched any of them, and I'm dying. I'm dying to. I want to watch the Maria Bartiromo take. I want to see what Kudlow says on it. I want to like. I mean, we won't be on the air early enough. Maybe I'll have some of it for tomorrow for the show. But I want to see some of this shit like Hannity or any of those guys try to say. And I think there's some Fox and Friends stuff, if I'm right. Like I said, I avoid watching these things so we can enjoy them together. So, 3 p.m. this afternoon, regular time. I will see you guys for HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. If you like the show that I do, hit like, hit subscribe on whatever platform you're on. Support the show in any way you can. Patreon.com/HAL Sparks is a great way to do it. Members at any level get a patch that allows them and privilege to go to a stand-up show of mine and bring a guest for free wherever I am. Obviously, this doesn't include Nerd Halen and sexy liberal things because there's other people involved. But anytime it's just my show, it's open door policy in that regard. And then, which by the way, I have a bunch of new dates to announce. I'm gonna have one of those big graphics at the beginning of the show. What do you think? Should do one of those. It tells you when my dates will be back. Yes, I will be back at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Central time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Please join me. And I'll see you guys this afternoon. Enjoy your day. Take care of yourself. And anybody, hug your kids. Just hug your kids. Just saying. Give them an extra long hug. A little, like 2 seconds past where they're comfortable with. You're just like, hang out. This is a real one. This isn't just a hello, goodbye. I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate the trolls showing up today. I'm sorry to some degree on a human-to-human level that you're having such a shitty day. I'm here to tell you that it does not get better for you. I mean, life will get better, but you'll still be a miserable bastard. I mean, you got to have some choices, right? And remember, if you're ever confronted with a choice that you believe is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil. See you later.